Hello dear students, today's topic is arrivals. In previous class we discussed about guest cycle, pre-arrival, arrival, in-house and departure. Today we're going to discuss in depth about arrival. The main activity of this arrival is preparing for guest arrivals at reservation, receiving of guest, pre-registration, registration that is non-automatic, semi-automatic and automatic, relevant records for free independent travelers, groups, air crew and very important person. Pre-registration is an activity of registering a guest, which may be done before his arrival or on the same day of his arrival, which includes the type of the guest. It could be regular guest, very important person, disabled guest, special attention guest, group, and air crews. The procedure of pre-registration. Guest registration card is kept ready, which is imprinted with all available transaction data such as names, address, billing instructions, type of room, and rate of room, which is collected at the time of reservation and kept ready for the signature of the arriving guest. Purpose of pre-registration: it helps in more effective registration and speedy check-in. Definitely it saves time, more time for the receptionist to give a personal touch in service to the arrival and avoid any confusion at the reception counter on arrival of the guest. This can be done three ways: manually or semi-automatically and automatically. Guest room amenities is another important activity. The list of amenities to be given or kept in the room. That could be VIP and disabled guest. It is prepared and sent to all departments such as food and beverage, pantry, room service and housekeeping, so that they can make necessary appropriate arrangement in advance. Depending upon the status of the number of the guest, amenities can be provided in the room. That is fruits, flowers, pastries, cookies, champagne bottle, minibar, dry fruit, cigarettes and cigars. In washroom, bathroom, dental kit, sanitary napkins, etc. Preparing for the guest arrival. After reporting on duty, the receptionist gets briefing from night shift staff about the work and scans to the front office memorandum for instructions. Then he checks about the number of expected arrivals and departures and the room availability position and calculate latest room position. Depending upon the system used, the expected arrivals are found from moment list. Information about vacant rooms can be found from room rack and housekeeper's report of available rooms or from PMS. While calculating room position, the receptionist shall have to consider for factors such as out of order room, early arrivals, early departures, in addition to expected arrivals and expected departures, and hence the room positions can be calculated. And from the following formula: room position equal to available vacant rooms plus number of rooms of expected departure minus number of rooms of expected arrivals. From the above, we can get clear picture whether the number of rooms available is more or less than the number of rooms required for the expected arrivals, that is positive or negative position. Receiving, welcoming and greeting of guests and assigning room. Receiving is an activity of greeting and welcoming the guests by the hotel front office staff and begins with the first employee that comes in contact with the arriving guest. This person usually is a doorman who opens the door of a car taxi when it reaches to the portico and after the entrance of door lobby. Further, this process continued by the bellboy who carries his luggage from the car to bell desk, further when he accompanies the guest from the front desk to his room. Also, the receptionist, the lobby manager, the lift operator, and other staff members who come in contact extend warm welcome to the guest by their gesture, body movement, eye contact, and appropriate phrases. Remember, remember the word please when you come in contact with the guest. The first impression is the most important and should be the best impression. Greeting the guest. All the guests arriving at the hotel must be welcomed. In remembering good greeting sets a positive tone for the entire transaction. It makes the guest feel good about being at your hotel. The prospective guest can be won or lost by their first impression of your establishment and in your particular type of making positive first impressions. First 30 seconds at the transaction counts. Be sure you're well groomed always and check your appearance frequently every day. Carry yourself with a pride, smile, but smile naturally and sincerely. Registration procedure is one of the most important process of check-in activity. It is a mandatory requirement that all guests over age of 16 years, whether ordinary or VIP guest, one must go through the registration process. Indian or foreigner arriving in an hotel, which may be small or large, categorized or uncategorized, one star or it could be five-star deluxe, must give a basic information about them and fill up either a visitor register, hotel register, also called as red book, in small scale hotels or small medium scale hotels, and it's also called as guest registration card. The guest is required to fill up the register card on his own handwriting and sign it. This process of filling up the register card by the guest and signing of it's called registration. The agreement between hotel and the guest is known as simple contract, having three elements: offer, acceptance, and valuable consideration, that is money. It provides first face-to-face contact of the guest with the hotel and establish the front desk as a focal point for the guest services. The guest registration card contains various important columns such as name and permanent address of the guest, number of persons, date of arrival, date of departure to and from the hotel, nationality, passport details, certificate of registration details in case if they are foreigners coming from, next destination, date of arrival in India, purpose of visit, whether employed in India or not. These to all contain columns such as room number, room tariff, mode of payment, which are filled by the receptionist, and may also contain the rules and regulations which the hotel would like to guest to understand and abide by. By signing this document, the guest gives his consent that he has understood and would abide by rules and regulations of the hotel, and also it becomes a proof of his stay at the hotel. It is mandatory to store this document for at least 6 months even after the departure of the guest. On request, this card should be produced to the government authorities such as police, etc. during or after the stay of the guest in a hotel. Registration process protects the interests of both the hotel and the guest. The process begins when the guest arrives at the reception counter. It terminates when he signs the document. To save time and to spare the VIP or sports or etc. the standing and filling of the document at the counter, hotels these days pre-register all VIP, special attention, disabled, frequent visitors, guests with a reservation, groups or airline crews. All they have to do simple is to sign the document at the time of arrival. All other details have already been filled by the reservation department or by the receptionist in advance. Various registration methods. Usually three methods are used for registration by hotels. One is bond book register, second loose leaf register, third is individual guest registration card method. First we'll look into bond book. It is a big bond register usually used by small hotels only. It is kept on the reception counter and arriving guest fills up the register and writes the information about him in one line. The advantage of this system is that since the book is bulky and cannot be moved, all information about the guest is available at one place only. Also, no filing is required in this case. The major disadvantage of this method is since it is bulky and kept on the counter with frequent usage, it becomes loose and it looks dirty. The biggest disadvantage is that the information provided by the guest cannot be kept confidential as it can be seen by the next arriving guest. Another disadvantage is that pre-registration of VIPs or disabled etc. cannot be done. If the book gets misplaced, although it is very unlikely, all the record is lost. Looseleaf Register. This system is almost similar to bond book system with the difference that in this case for each day a separate page is used instead of a consolidated register. The advantage is that the sheet need not to be kept on the counter, hence a neat and clean look can be given to the counter. To some extent, the information about the guest staying can be kept secret or privacy. In the event of the loss of one sheet, only one day's information is lost and other information will be safe. The disadvantage is that the sheet can be easily misplaced if the desk associate are careless. Further, the sheet may not be fully filled on days where there are very few arrivals and the rest of it may be waste. only one guest can register at a time, and if there are very heavy arrivals, others will have to wait. Filing also becomes a problem. It is suitable only for medium-sized hotels. Individual registration is the most prevalent system these days. In this system, one separate card is used for each guest. The cards may be designed so as to serve various purposes. It may be made in duplicate triplicate with the help of carbon papers. That one copy can be sent to FRRO as a C form. In some cases, arrival notification slips can also be made side by side. They may be also served to serve various purposes of the guest history card, and the size of the card is very quite small and quite handy. The advantage of the system is the complete privacy of the guest. Information can be maintained. Like in case of loose leaf registration, there is no wastage in this case. Another important benefit of the system, the guest can pre-register, which will give more time to the receptionist to give more personal attention and concentrate providing services to the guest at the time of arrival. The card is more mobile at the time of group or 8 crew arrivals. Separate counter can be opened for registration. The cards can be stored more systematically arranged either alphabetically or in ordered date of arrival. There can be a disadvantages. For example, the individual card system is quite expensive. Also, the filing and storing system of the hotel is not efficient and effective. Then the cards may be lost and valuable information about the guest which is at the hotel has to refer from the time to time may be lost. The card is called guest registration card. Registration process involves following steps: identification of guest, formation of registration records, room and rate assignment, establishment of mode of payment and settlement of bills, completion of check-in procedure, issuing the guest room keys. And we look into each step by step individually. First step in registration process, identification of guest, is important as the hotel process of the registration guest with the confirmed reservations and walk-ins in slightly different way. The front desk agent verify the status of the guest with the confirmed reservation by referring to the day's arrival list. As the pre-registration activity has been carried out for these guests, they have a speedy check-in. For walk-in guests, the front desk first refers to the room availability status, whether the room are available or not. The front office staff collects the relevant information from the guest for filling the guest registration card. The check-in of these guests usually takes longer time than the guest with a confirmed reservation. Second step, formation of guest registration record. A guest fills the registration form and signs it. The guest signature completes formalization the registration record. On the basis of this record, the hotel develops other hotel records like guest folio, visitor tabular ledger, arrival notification slip, guest history card, etc. The completed registration record is legal requirement. This should be stored for a minimum period of 3 years or as required by the law prevailing in the state. The same records can be accessed by the local authority as when it is required. Third step, room and rate assignment. After completing the registration record, the next step is to allocate and assign a room of the specific category as requested by the guest. In case of walk-in guests, the hotel may exercise the option of upselling. The details regarding the availability of the different type of rooms and other corresponding rates help the front office in deciding which room should be assigned to the guest. While assigning a room, the guest preferences like floor level, proximity to the elevator, view of the room, color scheme, etc. should be kept in mind. Fourth step, establishing of the mode of settlement of bills. To avoid chaos, one should know mode of settlement of bills. The determination of the guest's credibility and the mode of by the which they'll be settling their accounts is very important for the hotel. Hotels prefer cash equivalent modes, that is traveler's check, demand draft, credit card, charge card of account settlement. Other modes include travel agent vouchers or bill to company. The credibility of the guest can be determined like asking the guest to produce his or her credit card at the time of arrival and pre-auth it. and later the credit card company do authorize it. The guest may be asked to produce the travel agent voucher or authorization letter from the company in case the bill should be settled by the travel agent or the company. Sometimes advance deposit may be also asked at the time of check-in. The last two steps: completion of check-in procedure and issuing the guest room keys. After the front desk register a guest, assign a room, and establish mode of account settlement, it issues the room keys to the guest. A bellboy is called to escort the guest and to take the guest luggage to assigned room. The front desk agent carries out all the activities. It could be update the room status, prepare arrival notification slips and send them to the concerned departments in the hotel, creates a guest folio and fills Form C in case if it is a foreign nationals and send them same to the concerned authority. Form C is a legal document. It is also called as Hotel Arrival Report and it has to be completed for foreign guests coming to the hotel. It is to be filled for all foreign nationals except for Nepalis. Non-resident of India with the green cards don't have to fill the C form. With NRIs who are holding passport of other countries have to fill this card. Children up to the age 16 are exempted from filling C form. In the case exceeds more than 180 days, residential permits are issued. Two copies of C form are made. One is sent to Foreign Regional Registration Office and other remains as office copy with the hotel. Guests with confirmed reservation. The procedure of check-in of guests with a confirmed reservation involves in following steps. As the guests arrive at the hotel, the front office should welcome them and ask them if they have confirmed reservation. If the guests have confirmed reservation, the front office agent should check the day's arrival list to confirm the reservation status of the guest. Once the reservation status of the guest has been confirmed, the front office should agent give the pre-filled guest registration card to the guest to verify the details. When the guest has signed the GRC, the front office should check if all the details have filled in including the billing instructions. And he should also check the availability of room as per the guest preference and allot the room accordingly. And he should issue the room keys to the guest and authorize the bellboy to escort and carry the guest luggage to the room. The bell captain will fill the information in arrival errand card and lobby control sheet. The front office should also wish the guest have an enjoyable stay at the hotel. Check-in of VIP guest. Very important person includes head of states, ministers, media personals, sports personnel, film star, rock stars, etc. The check-in process of VIP may start with their arrival at the airport. The rule of hotel is welcoming political VIP at airport is minimal due to security reasons. In case of corporate heads of business houses, the hotel representative may receive them at the airport and escort them to the hotel room. The registration process may be carried out during the transfer from the airport to the hotel or in the hotel room. The hotel may arrange for the pickup of VIP guests from the airport depending upon the status of VIP. The pickup may vary from person to person depending on luxury car to limousine. When the guest arrives at the hotel, the front office should give him a traditional welcome. Tilak Garland Harati, the general manager of the hotel, the front office manager should be present at the welcoming of VIP. The registration formalities are mostly completed in advance by authorized representative of the VIP. Otherwise, they can be completed in the guest room over a welcome drink. The GM or a front office manager should escort the VIP to his room. The front office should send arrival notification slip to all any special instructions of the VIP to all the concerned departments. Pre-registration for groups and crews. The check-in procedure for a group or a crew requires specialized pre-registration activity as a group contains a large number of people who have to be registered at the same time. The following pre-registration activities are required for the check-in of a group. The front office should prepare a group list containing details of each guest in the group. That could include name, address, purpose of visit, duration of stay, meal preference, passport details, and any special instructions regarding the location of room. After ascertaining the type of room, number of rooms required, the front office should block rooms for the group, preferably on the same floor. Front office should prepare a rooming list which contain name of a group members and corresponding
room numbers. A sample room group rooming list can be given. The front office should arrange keys according to the room numbers and place them in an envelope to be handed over to the group leader. Based on the information received from the group leader or airport representative, the front office should fill guest registration card for group members and arrange them alphabetically. The front office should arrange the appropriate number of bellboys or for carrying group luggage to their rooms, and it should also coordinate with F&B department arrangement of welcome drinks on arrival. Check-in procedure for group. The front desk agent should be in a constant touch with the group leader or airport representative. Once the group arrives at the hotel, the following steps are involved in check-in. When the guest vehicle arrives at the portico, bellboy should handle the guest luggage. They should identify the luggage of individual guest, put the luggage tag as per the rooming list. Then they should transfer the luggage to the respective rooms using luggage trolleys. The front office agent should escort the group leader to the reception desk to complete the registration formalities. The receptionist should hand over the room keys and registration forms of all the members to the leader, who can get the guest registration card signed by the group members and distribute the room keys. Meanwhile, the front office staff should organize welcome drinks for the group members in a pre-scheduled area. Once the group leader hands over the signed registration card at the front desk, the guests may proceed to their respective rooms. The office agent should ask the group leader group activities, meal schedule, wake-up calls, and other requirements. Make a note of the same. The front office cashier should prepare master folio for the group and individual folio for each member of the group or mode of payment is settled. The front desk should distribute copies of rooming list of the group to different departments, housekeeping, telephone exchange, room service in order to inform that about the arrival of the group.
Thank you. Have a good day.